Melania Trump has just affirmed the LGTV community, and people are furious. But this time, it's not just about her trying to take a balanced position. She went much further. In her recent tweet, she didn't just say she supports fairness in sports. She openly declared, and I quote, "As many of you may know, I fully support the LGTV community." These words coming from the First Lady have caused massive outrage among conservatives and Christians who voted for her husband, President Donald Trump. People are not just disappointed, they are enraged. Many feel that what Melania said goes directly against the values they voted for in the last election. They didn't vote for a First Lady who would publicly affirm the LGTV movement. They voted for a strong stand against gender confusion, against the sexualization of children, and against the redefinition of basic truths. So when Melania Trump used those exact words, "I fully support the LGTV," it felt like a betrayal to many of them. And now, things are getting crazier because people are openly raging. So let's talk about what Melania Trump actually posted. In her tweet, she reacted to the Supreme Court's decision that allows states to ban biological males from competing in girls' and women's sports. She supported that part, but then she added something that set off a firestorm across conservative circles. She wrote, and I quote again, "As many of you may know, I fully support the LGTV community, but we must also ensure that our female athletes are protected and respected." She went on to say that both ideals are essential and that America can support the LGTV community while still protecting women's sports. For many conservatives and Christians, this was not a balanced statement. This was a clear affirmation of the LGTV movement coming from the highest levels of the White House. The fact that she said, "I fully support the LGTV community," made it even worse for them. They feel that as the First Lady, she should be more careful with her words, especially on issues that are deeply divisive and go against the values many voters stood for. Let's be honest about why people are so angry. Many conservatives didn't just vote for Donald Trump because of the economy or immigration. They also voted for him because they believed he would push back against the radical gender ideology that has been spreading across the country. They voted against men competing in women's sports. They voted against gender-affirming care for minors. They voted against the confusion being taught in schools. So when the First Lady comes out and says she fully supports the LGTV community, it feels like she is undermining the very reasons many people voted for her husband. Things are getting more intense because this is not happening in isolation. For months, many conservatives have been watching what they see as mixed signals coming from the administration. They expected a full and unapologetic stand against gender ideology. Instead, they are now seeing the First Lady affirm the LGTV movement while her husband's administration is trying to roll back parts of it. This contradiction is making people feel frustrated, confused, and even betrayed. And the rage is growing because they feel like their vote is being undermined from within. Now let's talk about Melania Trump's background. She was raised in a Catholic family in Slovenia and has publicly identified as a Christian. However, she has always kept her faith very private. Unlike some other political figures who speak openly about their beliefs and values, Melania has rarely discussed her religious convictions in public. This has made it difficult for many Christians to understand where she truly stands on moral and cultural issues. And when she makes statements like this, affirming the LGTV community, it only increases the confusion and disappointment among believers who expected stronger leadership from the White House. On the other hand, President Donald Trump has taken a much clearer and stronger position against gender ideology during his second term. He has signed multiple executive orders that recognize only two sexes, ban gender-affirming care for minors, remove transgender ideology from federal policies, and protect women's sports. His administration has been very aggressive in pushing back against what they describe as radical gender extremism. So when Melania makes a statement that sounds supportive of the LGTV community, it creates a noticeable and troubling difference between her position and her husband's policies. This difference is now causing real division among the very people who supported Trump. Some are trying to defend Melania by saying she was just trying to be compassionate and inclusive. Others are openly angry and feel that her words are damaging the administration's message. And many are simply asking why the First Lady is affirming something that goes against the values they voted to protect. The frustration is real, and it is spreading fast across social media and in churches across the country. Let's also talk about the bigger picture. Many conservatives and Christians feel that after voting for a strong conservative government, they are now seeing their values being softened or compromised at the highest levels. They voted to push back against the LGTV agenda, not to see the First Lady affirm it. They voted to protect children and women, not to see mixed messages coming from the White House. And now, as things continue to get crazier, the anger is only growing stronger. People are not staying quiet anymore. They are speaking out. They are posting on social media. They are talking in their churches and communities. The rage is visible, and it is not going away anytime soon. Many feel that what Melania said was not just a personal opinion. It was a public statement from the First Lady that affects how the entire administration is perceived on these issues. As Christians, we are called to stand for truth. Even when it's difficult, we are called to speak with both grace and conviction. But we are also called to be discerning about the messages we support and the leaders we follow. Just because someone holds a high position does not mean everything they say aligns with biblical truth. When the First Lady publicly says, "I fully support the LGTV community," it forces many believers to ask hard questions about where they stand and what they are willing to accept. Melania Trump's statement has created a storm of controversy. Whether she intended it or not, her words, especially when she said, "I fully support the LGTV," have made many conservatives and Christians feel angry, confused, and even betrayed. And as things continue to get crazier, the division is only growing deeper. What do you think about Melania Trump's statement? Do you believe she was right to say she fully supports the LGTV community, or do you think it was a mistake? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. If this video made you think, make sure to like and subscribe. We will continue to talk about important cultural and political issues from a biblical perspective. Thanks for watching. God bless you.